Born Baroness Marie Christine von Reibnitz, Princess Michael of Kent is a member of the British royal family and is married to Queen Elizabeth II's first cousin, Prince Michael of Kent. The princess was an interior designer before becoming an author, and she's written several books on European royalty, mostly her cousins. She does lecture tours, supports her husband in his public duties, and is often seen at royal family gatherings and public engagements. Amongst the many charities she's involved with is as patron of the Endangered Species Centre in HOEDSPRUIT, Limpopo. We were here to highlight the work of this facility, focusing on conservation and the sustainability of rare, vulnerable species.
This is probably one of the most phenomenal things I've seen in my entire life. Where in the world will you see an elephant, a rhino and a dog in one family and interacting like it's all okay? This is just fantastic. Probably the best orphanage I've ever seen.
LENTE ROODE Centre is actively involved in research and breeding of endangered animal species.
LENTE, you run an absolutely amazing facility here. How do you find the animals?
The animals are coming to us. You don't search for them, they're coming. You just get a call during the night when you at least expect it, and they're coming in. And so the little rhino and the little elephant came in. The farmer phoned and said that he's got this little orphaned rhino. And the next morning we went to fetch him, and then you just go on from there.
How does the support of having the likes of Princess Michael kind of become a patron of a place like this?
People want to see people like that involved into what you are doing, because then it gives you credibility. And that's important, because if people don't know you, they don't know what you are doing and they can't help. So it's important for me to have her here as a royal patron and to be seen and to be known.
The centre educates school children, students and the public in conservation. The princess helps to highlight one of their core programs, the release and establishment of captive-bred cheetahs in the wild, work which Her Royal Highness has a natural feel for.
Come and talk to me. I can do that too. Yes, the purr is one of the nicest things of a cheetah, because it's on the in-breath and on the out-breath. So it's a... I can't do it. But it's so beautiful. And I've recorded purring of cheetahs, and I play it to put me to sleep.
I love how you're so calm and at peace around the animal. What made you fall in love with the cheetah?
My father had me come to stay in Mozambique, and this cheetah came, and we heard that it had its hind leg caught in a trap. When we came to the body, we found that it was lactating. Its nipples were extended, so it had young. And cheetah babies are tiny. They're no bigger than kittens. They put it in my hand. He said, right, that'll keep you busy on your gap year. So I had to bring up this baby. And the book is the story. And it's the story of how we engineered her release into the wild and how we discovered, to our joy, it was ultimately successful. Wow. Because she came home twice afterwards, and second time with babies. So it was quite a wonderful and special time for me.
So South Africa was just fitting to launch your book?
South Africa's always been in my heart since I'm very young. Since I was 17 and now I'm 73, I've always come back. And for me, cheetahs belong in South Africa. And that's where a part of my heart is.
The launch of her new book, A Cheetah's Tale, was hosted in Johannesburg by philanthropist IVOR ICHIKOWITZ, founder of the ICHIKOWITZ Family Foundation.
IVOR, you've known Princess Michael for quite some time now. How did that relationship start?
We met at a friend's lodge over a glass of wine, and we got talking about Africa and her passion for Africa and her love for wildlife. And we realized that we had a lot in common, and that her passion for species preservation was exactly the same as mine. And we decided that we had to do something together to further the cause.
You've been privileged enough to achieve huge success. Why is it important to give back, to support initiatives like this?
Species like the cheetah are not threatened by wildlife crime. They're threatened by the pressure of human population. And on the African continent right now, as we develop, the first thing to be under pressure is land. And without land and space for these animals to roam freely, they will disappear. So today, the challenge is getting human beings and animals to live and coexist together. And that's why I'm passionate about this project and why I've become very passionate about preserving the cheetah.
Before this latest work, Her Royal Highness had authored several non-fiction books and some novels.
Princess Michael, what was the writing process for A Cheetah's Tale?
Well, really, it wasn't a book that I was intending to write because I write history. I was persuaded that the cheetah is so endangered that something should be done. So to see a cheetah in the wild, I think, is one of the great thrills that you can offer your children or have yourself. And so all those things combined to have me tell my cheetah story in the hope of awareness, in the hope of making people aware this beautiful creature might not be around forever.
Among those who see this as a significant issue to the country is a man who's no stranger to worthy causes and standing up for them.
Mr. PHOSA, sometimes we can take the matter of animal conservation a little bit light. How important are these kinds of events of raising awareness?
First of all, I want to say to you, I'm a breeder of animals. So conserving fauna and flora is for me my life. And therefore we need to educate our children about conservation, about how to coexist with other species, with other human beings, with other animals, and protect them.
I always love coming to an event and finding a fellow dancer, PHETLA. Absolutely amazing. We actually grew up together, about 2 rows away from each other, and now we're here celebrating cheetahs. How amazing is that? Kitty, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Lorna?
I'm fantastic. Now, what have been some of your highlights this evening?
Being around Her Royal Highness and actually telling us her story since she was 17, growing up with the cheetahs, is absolutely amazing. I think for me, that's the highlight.
How does an event like this help you become a lot more aware of what's happening in the wild?
My platform in television is about raising all sorts of issues. Every now and again, we venture into this space of talking about conservation and taking care of nature, and that's the global conversation, isn't it? And it's always good to be part of that conversation about how we can bring about the solutions to these kind of challenges and problems.
There were conservation activists of all ages there on the night, which is cause for optimism.
Now, it's a hard question right now, because when you think about rhinos, there's so much awareness about those animals. Do we have hope?
Absolutely, we have hope. It's through events like this, it's through the kind of initiatives that Her Royal Highness are taking, it's through all of the work that the great dedicated conservationists in this country are putting in that we are making a difference. We are going to turn this tide. It's a big responsibility and a big job that we all have, but as you can see from this evening, there's a lot of commitment and a lot of passion. We will turn the tide. Our heritage is our most valued possession, and we owe it to future generations to do this right for once and for all.
With many causes demanding our attention, cheetahs may not make the loudest noise. So it's good they have a royal champion to make them heard.